Good evening, I'm the Game Tutor, and tonight we're going to be looking at Liar Princess and the Blind Prince on Nintendo Switch. Now, reviewing this game is probably one of the hardest games I've ever had to review because I love it and both despise it in equal measures. When I sat down to write this review, I had no idea where the final score was going to end up. In the story, you take the role of a wolf creature of the night who happens to have a beautiful singing voice, and in so attracts the attention of a young prince. Now you in turn fall in love with the prince, and after an unfortunate incident which sees you scratching out the prince's eyes, you embark on a quest to try and put things right. Using the magic of a witch, you transform yourself into a princess, Little Mermaid style, in an effort to save the prince and lead him across the land to help him get help from the witch in question. Now, the first thing you'll notice when you play the game is how visually beautiful it is. In an age where graphics are often marked by the amount of polygons and how photorealistic it is, this is without a doubt one of the best looking games I've ever played. It really is beautiful. Now, gameplay wise, Liar Princess and the Blind Prince is a physics based puzzle platformer that I can best describe as the hand holding bit of Ico crossed with Trine crossed with something a bit like Limbo. Sadly, however, while the premise is great, it definitely is not a sum of its parts, as I thoroughly enjoyed playing Liar Princess and the Blind Prince, but a lot of its gameplay is a bit on the wonky side. First is the platforming. Now, controlling the prince is fine, controlling the wolf is really quite good, but quite often when having to pull the prince's hand and pulling him along, just simple jumping sections are very difficult to do, as they both kind of have sort of separate physics. Now, the prince and the princess can only jump and fall incredibly short distances without dying, so you often find yourself missing a small jump and then falling and dying purely down to the inconsistencies in the game's controls. My second gripe is how certain things can only be done as either the princess or the wolf, or you commanding the prince. Why can't the princess pick up a block? Why can I not activate a lever as the wolf, or even see that the lever's there and clickable? Also, it is possible to choose and some of the puzzles and in so mess up your positioning, which you may not be able to recover from during the course of the game. About halfway through the third act, I found myself missing the prince and unable to recover him even after resetting the game and reloading from the nearest save point. In the end, I had to go back to the previous act in order to undo whatever I did. Now, based on everything I've just said, you would obviously think that I hate this game, but you actually couldn't be further from the truth. The story and the relationship between the princess and the prince is quite wonderful and engaging, and I quite happily pushed through some of the dubious gameplay setbacks just so I could see the next part of the story. Now, this game probably isn't for everyone, but if you're a fan of well-written animated stories, then I implore you to give it a go and push past some of the slightly janky gameplay. It isn't that long, it only takes about 5 hours or so to complete, and it is a tale worth experiencing.